Hello Internet, it's that time of the day again where we bundle around a digital campfire and tell some of the most terrifying tales that the deepest depths of the internet has to offer. As always, I'll be your host Jack Finch as we welcome you back to Top 5 Scary Videos. Today we'll be covering that insatiable fear that only seems to occur when your parents are out of town for the weekend and then suddenly you hear footsteps coming from their bedroom and then the doorbell ominously rings. Who is it? Well, let's find out in 5 scary moments you thought you were alone.
Hello?
I'm sorry, I guess I dialed the wrong number.
Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you're absolutely terrified of the content in this video, go ahead and give us a little thumbs up and share it to whoever you believe needs a daily dose of horror. Reddit is rife with creepy tales that will unsettle you and keep you up into the small hours of the night, but for some bizarre reason, it's always so difficult to stop scrolling, especially when it's 4 AM and you're already scared witless. Well, let's take a look at them, shall we? Kicking us off at number 5, we have The Creepy Artist. A Reddit user who will otherwise remain anonymous details a bizarre encounter that occurred in broad daylight sometime in 2014. It was the height of summer and she was home alone in her apartment enjoying a bright, warm afternoon. Well, that all abruptly ended when she heard her doorbell ring. As she opened it, a young, unassuming man stood in the frame holding a large square bag. Being a Canadian who, as we know, are incredibly polite individuals, she struck up a conversation with the man and discovered that he was an artist. He told her that he was in town to open up a gallery nearby. You see, he wanted to drum up some business and sell some paintings to the locals at a discount rate. Sounds reasonable enough, right? Well, the first few paintings he showed her were nice general landscapes of nature and a few national parks. But that's when the nude portraits began. The first one was conventional enough, a classical Grecian style with bowls of fruit and the human form. But the next one seemed eerily too photorealistic and almost seemed to depict some kind of crime scene. Then it became even more intense and depicted scenes of gore and violence, even human dismemberment. The man, he just stood there, flipping through the canvases and grinning wildly at her. At one point, he even made a step towards her, and that's when she abruptly slammed the door in his face. She was freaked out, to say the least, but after she calmed down, she went to check from her bedroom window where the man had gone. Well, he was still standing there in the exact same spot, flipping through his paintings to a closed door. Next up at number 4, we have the porch creature. Now, we all know that things that happen in the wilderness are already 10 times scarier by default. Reddit user I Am the Cage was house sitting for his parents who he described as lived in the actual middle of nowhere. The closest neighbour to his parents' house lived about a mile away, and his parents had taken their dogs with them on their vacation. The house was eerie and completely silent, the kind of house that you had to keep the TV on at all times of the day as you'd be faced with nothing but the eerie sound of your own breathing. On one particular night, I Am the Cage stepped out onto the back porch for a cigarette before bed. Now, don't smoke, kids. As he reached the bottom of the porch steps, he flicked the wheel on his lighter and the small flame briefly illuminated his surroundings. It was then that our narrator realised he wasn't alone. A massive brown-haired four-legged beast was eating from one of the dog bowls outside the house. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's a bear, but I Am the Cage described it as being something that he'd never before seen in the wild, and it was covered in a strange, brown, human-like hair from front to back. Whatever it was, our narrator didn't have the time to find out, as, like anyone would do, he quickly retreated into his cabin and hid himself under the covers for the night. Next up at number 3, we've got the basement cackle. One day, a Reddit user named Corby315 was in the basement, unassumingly doing their laundry. All of a sudden, the lights blew out. No big deal, right? Wrong. When you're in a basement in the dark, the demonic forces of evil and shadow are instantly alerted to your location, as we all know. In Corby's basement, it was partitioned into 2 sections, with the furthest away section being where the washer and dryer were kept. So, in order to get back upstairs, you had to exit the laundry room and go through the other parts of the basement, which was now in absolute pitch black darkness. It was so dark to say the least, but after finishing the laundry and eventually mustering up enough courage to brave the basement, Corby315 made their way through the darkness. As they got to the halfway point, all seemed fine until Corby315 heard a noise from behind them that was clearer than day. A loud, continuous cackle, a shriek that could only resemble that of a witch's. Corby315 described the cackle as deep and hoarse, as if whoever had made it had been smoking for nearly 50 years. Whatever it was, they didn't stick around long enough to find out, wisely so. Coming in at number 2, we've got the Bonneville Trail. Years ago, Reddit user 7spaces, who lived in Utah, was a keen hiker and camper, and they headed out one weekend to the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. On this particular occasion though, he decided to take a trail that he'd never walked before. Good idea? It rarely is. After hiking a few miles up the trail, he came across a bend where 2 trees had apparently been uprooted. Seemingly though, they'd been placed over the trail in a way that resembled an archway. This is where things get weirder, because at the end of each tree were 2 big elk skulls purposefully put into place. 7spaces describes the skulls as being placed to look directly at you. He shrugged it off though and kept going on his way. As soon as he passed through the threshold of the archway though, he felt a cold chill shoot up his spine, and the hairs on the ends of his knuckles stand on end. He didn't want to turn back, but the whole time he couldn't shake the sensation that he was somehow being watched. As he makes his way through, maybe 5 minutes later, all of a sudden the birds stop chirping, and all the little animals of the forest stop moving, and even the wind seemed to die down. It was total silence. And as he'd been taught by his father, he knew that sudden quiet in the wilderness generally equaled bad news. 7spaces broke out into a full-blown sprint and hauled his ass off the trail. He didn't see anything, but he knew at that very moment that something or someone was stalking him. He could feel their eyes burning into him as he ran back down the trail. He doesn't know exactly what it was, but he intends to never find out. And finally, at our number 1 spot, we have the abandoned train tunnel. In this story, which happened around 2012, Reddit user Doodling Daughter details the strange events that happened in a set of old train tunnels in Colorado. The abandoned train tunnels, which are just west of Manitou Springs on Highway 24, if you wanted to check them out yourself, which, well, I wouldn't really recommend, please don't do that. There are a reported 7 separate caves in the train tunnel system, but as Doodling Daughter entered this particular tunnel, she was overwhelmed with a horrible feeling that she was being watched. She kept hearing strange echoes and noises, but nervously she laughed it off. She made her way deeper into the tunnel system, and the flashlight, which she had, well, yeah, it started to die, because that's what always happens in these situations. Right before her flashlight fully went out, she saw a white, faceless figure up ahead. It was a creepy, man-sized, mannequin-esque doll. As she inspected it, she had found that it had been stabbed with a blade where its face and groin would have been, and inside the wounds were a strange white substance. But as she went to take a closer look, she heard footsteps shuffling behind her. Needless to say, she ran as fast as she could out of there and never went back. To this day, she has no idea exactly what went down. But after submitting her post, another Reddit user claimed that they'd been to the same tunnels, and they'd found piles of bones that are supposedly related to a group of Satan worshippers that inhabit the tunnels. Well, what do you guys think? Would you want to head down into the Colorado tunnels on your own? Well, I'm fine right here at top 5 scary video. Wait, what was that? That's all we've got time for today, horror fans. Let us know if you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it an old thumbs up. Make sure to click some of the playlists floating above shortly to continue on with your horror binge right here on top 5 scary videos. Tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of chaotic content. As always, I've been your host Jack Finch, and until next time, you take it easy.